This video is going to be about 8.6. We're going to learn how to use trigonometry to solve for missing sides. Now let's take a look at the first question right here and see how it looks visually. It says sine of 25 degrees is equal to x over 5. It's asking us to find what the x is. Now first of all, sine is O over h because of the SOHCAHTOA right here, right? So we know this missing x right here is actually the opposite based on a reference angle, and the 5 was given to us was the hypotenuse. So visually, it will look like this right here. We have the 25 degree, my opposite is what I'm trying to find, which is the x, and my hypotenuse here was the 5. Now, this question looks like this, which is asking us, well, if we have a triangle like this, what must my x be? So this way, my ratio, and after I put in the inverse trig, will give me the degree of 25 right here. This is what the question is basically asking us for. So let's go ahead and find this x. Now, in order to find this x, let's take a look. Let's kind of imagine that this sine of 25 doesn't exist. Let's just imagine it like a regular number, let's say 7. If we have 7 equals to x over 5, well, how would you isolate your x? Well, you would isolate your x by multiplying 5 on both sides, right? And you will go ahead and cancel out on the right side, and that will give you x equals whatever 5 times 7 is. Now, the same idea is here with my sine of 25. Now, instead of 7, let's go ahead and use sine of 25. Sine of 25 is just a number, so we just work with it with a just regular number. So we still multiply both sides by 5. On the right side, the 5 still cancels out because x over 5 is technically 1 over 5. And 1 over 5 times by 5, we know that cancels out and becomes just 1 because 1 over 5 times 5 gives us just 1. So this cancels out and gives us just x. On the other side, 5 times the sine of 25 is our answer. But we need to figure out what value it is rounded to the nearest 10th place. So what you're going to have to do is that you're going to have to search up the Desmos Scientific Calculator. And I'm going to pull up the calculator to show you how to put it in. So on your calculator right here, you're going to clear everything out. Make sure it is in a degree mode. And I'm going to go ahead and click 5 times the sine of 25. Okay. And this should give you the decimal right here, 2.113. Now, if you're going to round it to the nearest 10th place, it'll be 2.1. Now, one thing for you to know is that it's okay for you not to put the multiplication sign as long as you put in the 5 and the signs next to each other. Okay, it will keep the answer the same. Now, going back to your question, our sine of 25 equals to x over 5. This question answer right here of x will be 2.1 if you round your answer to the nearest 10th place. Now let's go ahead and do another one. Now this one, it looks a little bit different. This one, our x is no longer on the top. It's no longer on the top like we have on the other side. This means in order to solve this, I have to use cross multiply because you cannot do what you did to the other question, multiply by 5 on the both sides. Doing this will not cancel out the 5 for you because on this one, we have 5 over here. If we multiply by 5 on both sides, on the right side, we will just be doing 5 times by 5 over 1, which will give you 25 over x. It will not change anything. It will not cancel anything out. So you cannot do this. So if you have a variable on the bottom, you need to do cross multiply. So I'm going to put a 1 under my sine of 25. Now I can do my cross multiply. I'm going to do 5 times 1. This gives me 5. Now, sine of 25 times by x gives me, on the other side, x times by the sine of 25. Now, to isolate my x here, I need to divide both sides by the sine of 25. Remember, just view the sine of 25 as a number. Okay. On the right side, sine of 25 over sine of 25, it's the same thing, so it cancels out, leaving me with x. And on the other side, 5 over the sine of 25, I will have to use a calculator. So I'm going to open up my calculator, clear everything out. I'll do 5 divide the sine of 25. This will give me my number here, rounded to the nearest 10th place, will be 11.8. This means my x here will be 11.8. Okay, Okay, let's continue to do one more. But this time we're doing it with an actual triangle. Now in the previous questions, we're being set up the question for us. Now in this one, we had to learn how to set up the question with using the triangle. Now my first step here will always be finding where my reference angle is. This is my reference angle. My next step will be that I'm going to find what type of sides I have. Well, look at 20. If 11 is my reference angle, what type of side is 20? Well, 20 is the side that's opposite away from my right angle. So 20 will be my hypotenuse, or my H. What type of side will X be? Well, X is the side that's right across away from my reference angle. So this is the O, or the opposite. Now, once you got your sides identified, you need to pick which of the SOHCAHTOAs are you using. Let me write it down, SOHCAHTOA. Looking at what you have. So I have here H and O. Now, which of the SOHCAHTOAs have H and O in it? The answer here is going to be SOA, which is that sine is equaling to opposite over hypotenuse. So with this in mind, we can set up our question. Let's go ahead and start writing it. Well, sine, what are we doing the angle measurement of? It's 11 degrees, right? So we're going to do sine of 11 is equaling to opposite over hypotenuse. My opposite is unknown, so I'll just leave it as x. And my hypotenuse is 20. Now, I'll just be solving my equation. Now, looking at this, if I just right now, let's cover this side. Oops, not meant to highlight. Let's cover this side up and just look at this right here. Now, if we just have this x over 20, how would you get rid of the 20 leaving over the x? The correct answer is that you're going to multiply both sides by 20, right? So this is exactly what we're going to do. We're going to multiply both sides by 20. Now, once you do this, the 20s will cancel us out. And the reason for this is because x over 20 is technically just 1 over 20. And we know 1 over 20 times 20 is just 1. So leave us with just 1x. This is the reason why this can be canceled out, leaving us with just the x. On the other side, it's 20 times the sine of 11. This is my answer for my x, but I need to figure out its actual value, rounding into the nearest 10th place. So let me pull up my calculator. I'll clear everything out, put in 20 times the sine of 11. This will give us 3.8 as my decimal when rounded to the nearest 10th place. So my answer here for my x, my missing side, will be 3.8. Moving on to question B. Now question B here, same thing. We're going to start our first step. Where is my reference angle? My reference angle is right here, 25. Now, what type of side is this W to my reference angle? Well, this is adjacent because it's a side that's next to my reference angle that's not the hypotenuse. Now, what type of side is my 15? Well, it's literally opposite away from my angle. So this is going to be opposite, or my O. And actually, let me change this A, adjacent here, to A. Now, if I have an A and an O, which one of these SOHCAHTOA can I use? Well, the correct answer here is going to be the TOA because I have only O and A. So let me write down tangent equals opposite over adjacent. Now let me fill out everything in. Now tangent, write it down. Now what degree are we doing? We're doing 25 degrees. So let me write down 25 degrees equaling to opposite over adjacent. Well, my opposite is 15. And my adjacent here is going to be W. Now, the biggest mistake that I was seeing on this question was that a lot of people are going to be like, well, I'm just going to multiply both sides by 15 and it will cancel my 15 out. And that's not correct. The reason is because if you go ahead and multiply both sides by 15, you're technically multiplied by 15 over 1, which will give you 15 times 15 right here will be, oops, let me see. 15 times 15 right here will give us 225, which is not 1. It will just give us 225 over W. It doesn't cancel anything out. So this is not what you should do. The correct way to do this, well, one of the correct ways to do this is that you're going to use cross multiply. You're going to put 1 under the tangent over 25. Now, the reason you put a 1 under it is because anything over the 1 is just staying the same. I'm putting the 1 under it this way, I can multiply this by, I can multiply using cross multiply. So I'm going to go ahead and do cross multiply. 1 times by 15 gives me 15. And then on the other side, w times by the tangent of 25, I'll just leave it as w times the tangent of 25. Now, always remember to view the tangent of 25 as a number. Okay, so w times the tangent of 25, how can I isolate my w? Well, these two are multiplied together, so I'm going to use division and divide tangent of 25 on both sides. So I can isolate my w because on the right side, tangent of 25 over tangent over 25 cancels each other out because anything that's the same over itself is going to be 1. So it cancels out and becomes just 1w on the right side. On the other side, w equals 15 over the tangent of 25. To figure this value out, I need to pull up my calculator, clear everything out. I'm going to go ahead and click in